and I would like to point that out. I also would like to call these people out because this protest was brought together by the people, by the community. However, early this morning, I found out that the politicians decided they wanted to make a press conference as if they somehow had something to do with this protest, as if somehow they are with all this change. The protest is about our politicians. The protest is about the police department. It's about the chief of police. So your press conference means nothing to us because you guys speak all the time. It was a photo opportunity for you. We don't need you to speak no more. We don't want that photo op. We don't need you to speak no more. You've done enough speaking. Now it's our turn to speak. And yes, we do need you. I'm not up here saying that we don't need you, that we don't want you. I'm just saying that that opportunity was not for you. That opportunity is for us. So yes, we do have to work with you, and we will work with you. But right now, it's not for you. It's for the people to speak up, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're here today. So stop that. Stop the photo opportunity. Let's do this right. There's no time for photo opportunities. All right, and as I said, my name is Chicano. I am very involved with the community of Aurora, especially the Latino community. I help run a boxing club as well called A-Town Boxing Club. We train kids to try to keep them off the streets. That's one of the things that we do. I also attend a lot of neighborhood group meetings throughout Aurora. And during these meetings, there's different neighborhoods, black, white, Latino, all of them. I attend these meetings to see what type of issues there are that people are speaking about. I also attend them to try to come up with solutions. And that's some things that we're working on. So, yes, this happened with George Floyd in Minneapolis, but we didn't just decide, we want to make change because that happened to him. We're here for that, but at the same time, we've been decided we wanted to make change. We've been working on trying to make change. So we were, a lot of things you don't know, myself and other people were behind the scenes, trying to figure things out, trying to come up with solutions, start making that change. And we're going to continue to do that. Even after all this momentum dies down with George Floyd, we're going to continue doing what we're doing. Woo! I also run a business called Chicano Times, and mostly I attend events, festivals, things like that. The merchandise I sell is geared toward Latino culture, but at the same time, I use those funds to help do some of the things that I'm doing in the community with the kids, with any events, any shows, and things like that. So also, I am here today as a member and leader of the Latino community to show support for our black brothers and sisters. I bring my flags today not to show that I'm about my race, but to represent that we as Latinos, as Mexicanos, are here to support Black Lives Matter. And not only to support, but that we are going to work to make that change that has never come. So it's not about just supporting. We're going to work to make that change that has never come. We're going to finally make it come. With that said, we are putting you on notice, Aurora. We're putting you on notice, APD. We're putting you on notice, elected officials. We're going to make that change. And at the same time that we're putting you on notice, we don't want to work against you. When we have to, we want to work with you as well. I also want to talk about 3 statements put out by Mayor Irvin and Chief Zeman recently that I have a problem with. Mayor Irvin's statement of May 30, 2020, in reference to the killing of George Floyd, he stated, "Rest assured, these illegal actions will not be tolerated by officers of the APD. Furthermore, I'm positive our officers would not stand idly by and accept those actions from any of their colleagues." Well, they have been tolerated, and yes, they have been standing idly by. So we cannot accept that statement. It's not true. Another statement from Chief Zeman, May 29, 2020, message from Zeman in reference to the George Floyd killing. She states that the training division of APD focuses on scenario-based training, and in every exercise, de-escalation is the first tactic. Well, you need to train your officers on how not to escalate a situation as well. Because if you're training them in de-escalation, train them in how not to escalate one. Because we know all too well they know how to start something when they pull somebody over, when they harass somebody. So train them how to die down a situation with themselves. Also, Chief Zeman, you said many chiefs are sending out messages to their officers with a stern lecture about use of force, and you want to do the opposite, thanking them and so on for what they do. thereby stating that there is no problem, and that's wrong of you for stating that. You also said you will part with them when they are wrong. So tell me, how many have you fired? I know you're not here today, but tell me, how many have you fired? You said you will part with them when they're wrong. It should be a number of them fired, and they're not. One more statement put out by both Mayor Irvin and Chief Zeman on arrest and release of Mr. Walker, the incident that happened last week. You say the officer had the authority to make that decision and that you, the mayor, and the officer are in agreement to use discretion and not pursue this matter further. You guys are not accepting responsibility for the wrongful arrest of that man. Because everybody knows there was a video out there. And you saying that you guys use your discretion, that shouldn't have been said like that. I mean, I understand you released them, but the statement could have came out a little better than that. You know, to me, that was on both parts, that was a matter of arrogance. And, you know, at the same time, the video shows how the officers acted at his residence. You know, it shows. So how are you going to say we use discretion, you know, like, just because you have the authority? That's not right, you know? And as to the police officers themselves, yes, they are good ones. I deal with some on a regular basis during the neighborhood group meetings that I attend and the events we have. I've been with numerous officers in all these meetings, events, part of the boxing club. We do shows, fundraisers, and things like that. We've even had the officers... you know, I'm also in the lowrider community, so we've even had the officers with their police cars parked next to our cars. And that's another thing with the police officers. They see a lowrider or something and they automatically judge. They think that we're involved with criminal activity. And I'm not saying all police officers are like that, because as I said, we have them in events. We have them side by side with police cars. I've done another one where we had Ron Hain was there. He had the Kane County Sheriff car parked next to our cars. So we do work with the police, you know, on as far as shows and events, trying to do community things. We do that, you know, and that's a good thing that we can show solidarity on that level. But that's not enough, because some of the officers know what we do. But there's those that don't know what we do, and they see us and they want to judge us right away. And they can't do that. They can't do that. And also, those same officers that I'm talking about that show up at these meetings, the community-oriented policing, I would like to know, will they stop a fellow officer, even though they're out there helping the community and all that? Will they stop a fellow officer when he's doing wrong? Will they put him out there when he's doing wrong? No. You all want us to give information when illegal activity is taking place. You guys always state that. You always say we can remain anonymous. You always want information. But are you guys going to tell on each other? Are you guys going to put each other out there? That's what we want to know.
Abolish ATV. Defund the Aurora Police Department. No more cops.
Woo! Okay, now also you hold us accountable if somebody commits a crime and we're there and we didn't say anything about it. You know? So you want to hold us accountable, put us in jail and all that because somebody committed a crime, we were there? Hold yourself accountable, because a lot of times when an officer does something, you stand idly by watching what he does. So if you can put us in jail, you guys can put yourselves in jail as well. You can arrest each other. I don't know why when an officer assaults a person on camera, he is not arrested on the spot. You know, you might say that, oh, we can't do that because, you know, it might tarnish something. But that's what should happen. If you want to arrest us on the spot, arrest them on the spot. Because that's very hypocritical of what you guys say. All right. This wind is getting in the way of the paperwork. Can you hold it? All right. People talk about us when we were doing bad, committing crimes and things like that, saying we should do better and all that. And when blacks and Latinos get out of jail or when they leave the gangs and that, and they start doing better, they still want to downgrade us. They still want to talk about us. They still want to harass us. So they're not allowing us to do better. You know, if you're going to talk that about, oh, we should have did this better, that better, or whatever, okay, when we come out and we want to do better, then let us do better. You know, stop talking down to us and judging us. The other thing is, when people are, people that gotten out of jail, they have a record or whatever, and they may have been out for a few years or so, and they're doing good in the community and all that, and you still want to harass them. So that's another thing with the gang database. You got to get rid of that. There's got to be some type of system put in place for that gang database to get people taken off that list, because not everybody's on that. If you say you want people to change and you want them to do good in the community, take them off that list so they can do that. You know, there's no need for that, for you to constantly, the rest of their lives, say that, you know, they're still involved in gangs when they're not. Just as easily as you can put them on for being around gang members or something, in a few instances, just as easily you can take them off that list. Okay, and another problem is police officers know when they pull somebody over, there's a situation, no matter what the person is doing or whatever, a lot of times they know they're being recorded. A lot of times somebody's there with a cell phone recording, maybe multiple people. They know this. And what do? They still assault the person, right? You know why? Because they feel that, I don't care that they're recording. My higher-ups are not going to say nothing. They're not going to do nothing. If they do that blatantly like that, then that's the attitude they have. That's the culture of the police department then. If they do that in front of a camera, knowing there's a camera right there and they do it. So what's going to happen to them? So those statements made by the chief of police are wrong, because she's talking about, I commend them. And yes, the officers have done a lot in the community. You know, they've done a whole lot. But then you got the ones that don't.
Fire the chief!
All right. So let's get away from all that. Let's have open conversation before making judgment. Let's help each other instead of looking down at each other. Get out of that mentality that you all are from another world to rule over us, and that what you say is law, no matter what. And just because you are the law, your badge doesn't mean your word is law when it is wrong. Because a lot of times you're wrong and you want us to obey what you say. And that's another thing with that incident last week. He was talking to a grown man telling him, you need to obey me. He's at his residence with his family, and he's telling him, you need to obey me. If you want somebody to listen to, I think you need to come up with another word than that, not obey, because he's not a kid, and you can't act like you're somebody over him like that. So you need to change that. And then Aurora has been in the national spotlight for the last couple of years, for good and bad. Aurora's been in the news almost every day. There's always, on all the news channels, Spanish, English, they're reporting on everything that Aurora is doing. And that's a good thing, you know what I mean? Because it brings a lot of attention to Aurora, it brings a lot of business and all that. It brings a lot of people to come out here because they see that we got a lot going on. And I like that, I applaud that. And that's one thing, I do give to the administration, they're doing a lot for that. So, in talking about the politicians and all that, I don't take away from everything else they do. But there's still a whole lot of work that needs to be done, and we can't stop there. So, yeah, we have to speak out. I mean, some of the politicians may not like it. We don't do it to be against you, but we have to talk. We have to say it, because the change has to come. It has to come no matter what. And lastly, because the Aurora is on the news all the time, and all the things you say, the chief of police, everything you say to the contrary of what's really going on, eventually they're going to see right through you. You're going to tarnish the reputation of Aurora by that, because eventually they're going to say, you know what, we believed in Aurora, now look, everything's coming out. And we can't have that, so let's stop that. We have something great going on here. Don't tarnish it. Don't inadvertently tarnish it, Let's continue to be in the spotlight. Show the world what Aurora is. This A-town, and show it. Let's act like it. Let's do something, and let's be bigger than that. You know what I mean? Let's take Aurora to national, worldwide, and all that. All right? Okay, I'm here. We are here to support Black Lives Matter. I'm here as part of the Latino community, representing the Latino community, as showing support in in this peaceful protest, and let's do that. Power to the people.